Welcome to episode 5 of Ask Trent, where I answer your questions so that you know that you're not alone in your journey with playing with the brain speedball. The question is, what do you mean by sensory training? And here's what I mean. When we think about training, it's really common for us to think about making our muscles stronger, more flexible, having better joint mobility, etc. But it's not as common for us to think about strengthening our senses. And the reality is that if you have stronger senses, your ability to balance, to have more strength, to have better coordination, to prevent falls, to have athletic performance, to sit and concentrate and focus on tasks really increases. So there's two primary senses that I want you to consider, and that is really your visual sense and your vestibular sense. So starting with the visual sense, we're really used to thinking about our visual sense with how clear an object is. When we're reading, we're looking across the room, or we're driving our car, how clear and crisp the objects are. So visual acuity, how clearly you see. But we're not used to thinking about our eyes in the sense of there are muscles in the eyes. You have two eyes that need to coordinate, and that the stronger that those muscles are, the better the two eyes coordinate, that the stronger that sense is, and the better the information is going to the brain. And the same is true for our inner ear. You know, if we have a problem with balance and we have any kind of vestibular disorder, it might be top of mind. But if you don't have a, quote, disorder where maybe a vertigo or the room is spinning, you're just dizzy all the time, you may not have considered how important the vestibular system is on your overall performance and ability to accomplish everyday actions. So when we're talking about sensory training, really consider visual and vestibular. And when you're playing with the brain speedball, we know that fun is required, and that's like the foundation to the game. But when we look at sensory training, first visually, you are tracking the ball as it goes through space. And so whatever game you decide to play, and whatever form you're playing, whatever speed, by yourself, with a friend, make sure that you're tracking the ball as well as you possibly can. Because as the ball is traveling through space and going in different directions, if you're really focused with your eyes and you're tracking that ball, you are strengthening the muscles in many different directions. And that is training that sense. The same is true with your inner ear. When you're playing the game, if you can vary the direction that the ball is traveling, it'll require you to turn your head and move your head in different directions, which reinforces and strengthens that inner ear. So I kind of think of it like this. If you think of a level that you might measure, if you have a board that's even and you have the liquid and that little bubble in the middle, and if the bubble's in the middle, you know that it's level, right? You know that you're centered. And so as you're moving your head around, you can kind of think of it like that. That you want that sense to be strong so that you know where the horizon is, you know how to orient yourself to your surroundings. Because the better you can do that, the better performance you have in your body for whatever you're trying to accomplish. Whether it's just simply going for a long walk, or something that's more athletically demanding, or if it's even just being able to sit and focus and feel relaxed in your body and regulate yourself. It plays a key role. And because your visual system and your vestibular system are so strongly tied together, when you're playing the game, you're really incorporating both at the same time. So you don't have to overthink the game. It's just that make sure that you really consider tracking the ball, because you don't really have to look at the ball to catch it. You could look away last minute and still be able to catch the ball. Your brain and your peripheral vision kind of fill in the gaps, and you know where the ball is generally in space, and you'll catch it. But if you really track it as it comes into your hand, you'll adjust your head, you'll move your eyes, and you are training those two senses. And we know that better perception equals better action. So if you can increase your sense strength, you get better perception, and you're going to get better action. And so I really would suggest that you set a goal for yourself, and what action are you trying to improve, so that you can measure it. So that when you're playing a game and you're really trying to reinforce tracking in the eyes and moving the head in different levels and different dynamic, that you can see the payoff and you can see the results. So you might measure it with how long you're able to sit and focus and work at your computer or do homework, or how fast you can run, or keeping your balance is improving. You're getting less headaches. There's various ways you can think about how to measure it. So I really would advise you to think about that, so you can make something that feels maybe new and unusual, called sensory training, into something that feels more everyday. Because it is every day, we just aren't used to maybe putting words on it and talking about it in a way that seems everyday and normal vernacular. So if you have more questions about sensory training and you want me to expand in any direction, please let me know. Drop it in the comments or shoot me a message. And I'm sure there's other people in the community that will have some advice and some feedback and some support for maybe your situation, and maybe you need a game suggestion or help with improving the game that you're playing. Please drop that in the comments and let me know. I'm happy to help. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask Trent. See you next time.